Have you ever had one of those intrusive thoughts that probably shouldn't have ever left your head? Like, what would happen if I just turned off the gravity while Spider-Man was mid-swing? Well, I'm making that into a game. It's called Astro Inc. Sling Ops, a zero-gravity grappling game where you slingshot through astro fields like an absolute maniac. And while this might look mildly polished now, trust me, it didn't start that way. One small step for man, one large leap for mankind. Okay. So this is my first prototype. I looked up this generic UFO mesh in Blender, slapped on a movement system, and immediately discovered one thing. Dampening. Oh, sweet, sweet dampening. I somehow went way too long before even realizing Unreal had a dampening setting. Until then, every test flight ended up pretty much like this. Once I turned it on, the ship started behaving like an actual vehicle instead of a physics experiment going wrong. At this point, I still had no idea what kind of game I was actually building, but I knew I wanted grappling in space, so I floated a few ideas. My first thought was a racing game, but I couldn't really find a way to constrain the player without ruining the freedom of movement, so, well, I shelved it. My second idea was a space heist game. Actually, I still really love this concept. I even made this asteroid with a cage system, which turned out pretty great. Except the collisions were a bit of a nightmare. To manually optimize this would have taken days, and my scope was already spiraling. Then came the third idea, and this one actually stuck. A space miner, swinging around in zero gravity, collecting rare asteroid resources. Originally, I thought it would be competitive, fighting for minerals against other players, but right now I'm leaning more towards single player. Maybe you're racing against AI, maybe it's a time challenge, I'm still figuring that part out. The important thing is I'm keeping the scope tight. I don't want to spend 3 years building a perfect game that never ships. I want to actually finish this, get it out there, and then move on to the next cool idea. This project isn't about making the next No Man's Sky. It's about finishing my first game and learning as much as I can. Now I know what everyone says. Don't obsess over making your own assets. Just grab some packs, keep things simple, and look, asset packs are great, but there are 3 problems for me. 1, I'm cheap. 2, packs rarely had exactly what I needed. And 3, Blender tutorials are everywhere. Turns out it's surprisingly easy to make decent low poly models with a good reference image and a bit of patience. But there's one exception to this for me, Niagara systems. In the Unreal Engine, they're my kryptonite. I don't know why, but they always end up creating some weird lag or spawning issues. Eventually I caved and I bought this beam pack for like $11 in Fab. And immediately I wondered, why not just do this sooner? Honestly, if anyone knows how to fix Niagara beams lagging a frame behind my ship when starting or stopping fire, please drop me a comment. My Grapple beam still suffers from this and it's driving me nuts. Another asset pack that really saved me was this dynamic space debris set. I could have probably built something similar myself eventually, but it wasn't expensive and it saved me a ton of time. For the player's ship, I specifically wanted to avoid the typical space planes with unnecessary wings cliche. At first I used this placeholder UFO from a Blender tutorial, but that got boring pretty quick. So I cracked open Blender again, got creative, and came up with this. The spherical design felt perfect for a zero-gravity grapple game. Simple, compact, and built to swing around in space. I also intentionally avoided typical jet propulsion because why not try something different? I settled on this rotating power core propulsion. It spins passively at idle, rotates faster as you thrust forward, and reverses when braking. Feels futuristic, looks neat, and fits the grapple-based movement perfectly. Right now, the core gameplay loop that I'm testing revolves around asteroid mining with a bit of urgency baked in. The player's job is to grapple into asteroid fields, locate valuable chunks, and quickly bring them back to the ship. To make things interesting, I'm thinking about adding a time constraint. You'd have limited time before some enemy presence arrives. You may have already noticed these angelic-looking ships floating around in earlier footage. Currently, they're set up with a simple, randomized patrol logic. The idea I'm leaning toward is having these guys act as a hostile intercept force. Once your time's up, they come after you, and maybe there'll be scouts providing intel in your position. I'm still figuring this out, so if you have ideas, just let me know. Scope creep, however, is my biggest enemy, and I'm determined to keep this first game tight, focused, and finishable. And that's where things stand right now. Fast-paced asteroid grappling, a unique propulsion system, and plenty of room for adjustments. It's rough around the edges, sure, but I'm actually having fun with it. Would you play a game like this? Let me know why or why not down in the comments. Also, I'd love to hear about your own personal projects.